Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Malloy. I am the VP of Sales here at PSPDFKit, and welcome to another webinar highlighting kind of PSPDFKit's SDK. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to let everyone join. Today, I am accompanied by one of our web front-end engineers, Guillermo, who will be helping me throughout the presentation to answer any questions in the chat. So feel free as we go through today to post any questions, say hello, or, follow up. After this, live demo, we will be sharing the link so you can kind of reference back to it, as well as some contact information for our team. So yeah, we'll give it about one more minute and then we can get started. Good morning, Ryan. Great to see you. I'm going ahead and share my screen so we can be ready to go. Awesome. All right. Okay. Wonderful. So we'll get started. So yeah, so today's kind of motivation of doing this is kind of take a high-level overview of some of the things that you can do with PSPDFKit and the technology that we provide developers and kind of end users of different types of applications. A little background on our company. We've been in the space for over a decade now, providing developers different tools for both rendering and manipulating PDFs. We see a lot of different common use cases, but are excited to partner with a lot of different companies with new ideas. Today, I'm going to focus mostly on using our web SDK, which allows you to easily plug and play our framework into a web application to then render and manipulate documents through a browser. Looking at what right now, I'm using our web SDK. We have our logo here, but that isn't present when you license our framework. And the first thing I want to highlight is, at PSPDFKit, we offer a number of different products. We have spent a lot of time over the years, really working on deploying different integrations for different environments. So when you look at this sidebar here under our different SDKs, we have, specific, frameworks that have been engineered specifically for different operating systems. We understand that different users on different devices expect different kind of experiences. So, we have our web framework, we have a native iOS SDK, as well as an Android SDK is, three of our more flagship products and our most, feature rich, but we've also spent time integrating PDF support and, a Windows SDK, Catalyst, as well as, Flutter and React Native, which was what we've seen the industry kind of move forward towards. More recently, we've spent time, finding other places where, PDF support is very common, including SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive. We're currently working on a Salesforce integration and hope to have that soon as well. So yeah, so the demo is mostly going to focus on the front end tools, but however, we do have some back end server side manipulation tools as well that we can touch as well as a hosted product here. So great. So what are we looking at here? So what we see to the right of all these different frameworks that we offer is a feature list. All right. So the feature list here is kind of what separates PSPDFKit. All of these are different components that you can use to kind of build the workflow and experience that you want to offer your users when working with PDFs. So, starting with our viewer component, we take control of both the rendering of the document in your application. PSPDFKit is built off of Google's open source renderer PDFume. Several years ago, we forked off and have spent over a decade improving this open source engine that gives the added benefit of having a tech stack that's trusted by more developers and end users of Google Chrome in the world, but also gives you the flexibility to have, access to that underlying framework that we're built off of. So let's start with the viewer. So the viewer is kind of our staple where we start, where we see most people come to us, needing to render PDFs in a browser or a mobile application. So switching views here, we have a standard toolbar here that is entirely customizable. So often when you evaluate our SDK, you're given access to all features that we offer. So some of the highlighted viewer features that you'll see is, fit to page, being able to zoom. We work with a lot of construction agencies who have, complex PDFs, being able to scroll through the PDF, as well as different manipulations on how we present the document as well, transition, and then, if we're scanning in documents that need to be rotated, we can do that as well. Different ways to scroll. One of the benefits of PSPDFKit is we provide two different integrations of our web framework. One is a fully client-side integration called PSPDFKit for Web Standalone, where all the rendering and the manipulation of the PDF happens in the browser. So what we do is we take the PDF and we fully render it into the web application, and then you're allowed to view it, manipulate it. But we also have a server-side integration that's entirely self-hosted that lets you enable certain functionality like lazy loading PDFs for those larger PDFs. So as we work through the viewer, we have a thumbnail view. Part of our job is to, definitely align with the PDF spec so that, you have cross compatibility with other renderers and other viewers. So, we're able to pull the outline from this PDF so that, if you were able to go into, Adobe or another third-party viewer that you might be relying on right now for manipulating documents instead of within your application, this would be cross-compatible. We spend a lot of time QAing a lot of our functionality to make sure that it is compatible with other viewers in case the document has a life cycle that leaves PSPDFKit. Bookmarks as well. So we want to bookmark and be able to reference this. Like we said, this is fully customizable so that you can kind of enable certain icons or disable them. We do a search engine so you can toggle through the different search results. We can download the PDF as well as, print if we need to do that. One of the examples of, customizing the UI, which we think is really important, is this example of a magazine. So what we've seen, you can see that we've moved the toolbar to the bottom, have a more user-friendly approach so that we can kind of look and get the feel of what a magazine would look like. We can toggle full screen mode if we need to, but you can see this is a much more kind of narrowed down approach to, customizing the UI. We either can go to the point of doing like a flipbook animation where, you could present the document much like you would. So a lot of customizations there. Our idea is to be kind of a utility in your application so you can make the workflow that you want for your users. So definitely able to customize there. So so that kind of runs us through our viewer. Probably the second most common feature that we see people come to us is for annotations. We've got 17 annotation types included in our annotation component. I've been using a lot of them during this presentation. But, in terms of annotations, again, cross compatibility with other viewers so that, as you annotate documents or you add markup, if I'm to download this and open it up in kind of another window or like a web view with Google Chrome, you can see that these comments have persisted and I'm able to still use these so that the annotations are good. So that's opening up in Google Chrome using PDFUM as well. So yeah, annotation types. If you use any kind of text selecting, you're able to, do the common editing tools. We have drawings as well as an inspector so that you can customize, the colors and anything like that. Common tools that you expect to find when you're editing documents. Uh, we even extend into kind of some publishing use cases where people are marking up or approving certain documents. So quite a bit here that you can work with. Need to erase. Wonderful. As well as kind of a freeform highlight as well if the text isn't selectable. Other common ones, we do image, so you can add an image annotation. We also have a pre-approved stamps that you can add to the document. You're also able to customize the stamps as well and upload your own if you have certain workflows. Excuse me. Other things, note annotations if we have to make notes, which is fairly common, and then you can change like the note, the reference annotation type so you can know what's there. So I could come back to our feature list and add a note here. Covered this in the webinar. Cool. And slide this over here. Cool. So yeah, tons of annotation types. We are a very, developer and customer driven company and approach to kind of our roadmap. So, if there's anything that you might see that might be special to like your industry or kind of your use case, we're definitely open to have a discussion. I think a good example of that is, we have a lot of companies in the construction and engineering kind of industry that use our framework. So, the CLAD, we had a lot of requests over the years to support a cloud annotation, as that's very specific to that type of workflow. So we implemented it as a standard annotation type for us. Yeah. Cool. Moving into that. So yeah, so annotations. What else? So, kind of looking here, the next one I'd like to kind of cover is our form support. So PSPDFKit supports and recognizes all PDF acro forms, which follows the PDF spec as well. So, if you do open a PDF form that's already been created, we have the ability to recognize radio buttons, check boxes, signature boxes as well. It pulls up our electronic signature UI where I'm able to, apply a signature in a couple of different ways, which then we auto size it and fit it to the signature block as well. We have kind of a date and time as well, where we have a different drop down so that you're able to have a date picker there. But that's not it as well. So like one of the benefits of PSPDFKit and kind of the work we've done is like you can use this as a standard kind of viewer and editor, but you can see examples where we have pulled information from a database and filled out these fields programmatically. So if you do have a heavy work form or permit or kind of workflow, if you have common fields like first and last name, you can use PSPDFKit to pull those first and last names and go ahead and programmatically and pre-fill those forms as they're rendered to kind of save time. On the opposite side, I can take this information after I'm done, marking it up, and then save it and do with the information that I want. So both with PSPDFKit, you can control the influx of information into the documents, but you can also pull the information that you're putting into documents. And that doesn't stop with just PDF forms. That can extend to, annotations, the text that the text underneath a highlight, you can extract that. And we expose a ton of different metadata and information and event listeners in our documentation for you to harness. So at a very simplistic use case, you can just plug and play us in and use this as a viewing and editing tool, but you can also use this to track information and things like that. You'll be able to see, for example, we have an annotation list right here that is pulling any change to the document that is happening, as well as it's time stamped and things like that. So it's very intuitive for you to figure this out. You can even programmatically add API names, so you could see that Richard was doing this during the time as well. So a lot here to unpack. See some questions coming in. Cool. I see some Roy's adding some questions. Guillermo will definitely get you taken care of. He'll be able to answer those, Roy's, as those come in for sure. But that is definitely something we currently support. So forms. As we're kind of touching on forms, something that we've newly released, which has been widely successful and has garnered a lot of information, is our form creator and form designer component. There's a lot of workflows now with e-signature laws and different changes to kind of signing becoming more of a remote process, that we see the need to be able to create and kind of map forms as an end user product being more and more popular. There's several third-party tools that do this, but being able to do it within your application in real time, whether you're going through a signing workflow or something, is something that we see our customers really like. So what we have done is we've exposed the ability to, one, take existing forms and being able to edit them, both from the appearance standpoint of what you want the form to do, but also, what the form is supposed to be applied to. So we'll change this. We'll go to surname, and we can make it required. And we can also see and map these different things like we did in the last one there. We also have an intuitive UI where you can create form fields in kind of real time. So I can add a radio button here. I can put a label, kind of build these forms out as I need to, and map them. Signature boxes. So yeah, this could be applicable to a number of different use cases. You might be sending a contract over for signature, and you need to add signature blocks. You could be taking a common form for your employees, and it's usually handwritten. You could use our form creator to then create the form fields so that you can fill it out online. You could also be taking an existing form and just like updating it so that it's more pertinent to like the daily workflow. If you didn't need like one of these, you didn't need one of these options anymore. So a lot of options with the form creator. Yeah. Wonderful. Cool. Moving on. So kind of finishing out the signature piece, e-signature laws can continue to adapt to different jurisdictions. So, PSPDFKit can provide you access to both the ability to apply an electronic signature and a digital signature. So, electronic signature is that signature UI that I was demonstrating, that anytime you click on a signature field, our signature UI comes up and you're able to apply an electronic signature to the PDF. A digital signature allows you to bring a third-party certificate from a certificate authority and apply it to the PDF. What this does is, after we sign the document, we're going to apply the certificate, and what PSPDF can do can recognize that we've applied the certificate. Everyone says who who says who they are, and that the document is valid because it hasn't been altered. In addition to that, if someone did come in and decide to edit this document, PSPDFKit will then invalidate the certificate because now the document has been changed, therefore letting all the parties know that download and open this document that it has been altered, something's changed since the last person signed it, so it may not be legally binding anymore. This varies from country to country, but for the most part, digital signatures is definitely a growing requirement around the world that we've seen, and so it's been great to be able to support our customers and being able to apply digital signatures and verify them. Okay. Got a few more features that we definitely wanted to highlight that are part of the kind of the PSPDFKit part of the PSPDFKit kind of family. So, other things that we commonly see people come in that are using a third party to do is our document editor. So the ability to take an existing page and maybe duplicate it, so we have another copy, or then we need to rotate it, but just kind of that page manipulation to be able to kind of combine documents, merge, put together an envelope packet, things like that, to really kind of finish out the workflow so that you have options. We can undo if we need to bring it back. We'll just make it upside down for now. So yeah, so our document editor is there. So yeah, and again, working with PSPDFKit, all of this is completely self-hosted. Talking about the SDKs right now, so you're deploying this within your application. No information is passing back to our team, and so you have full control. It helps you, you kind of hurdle over some security requirements and things like that. But in terms of PSPDFKit, it's a great tool to use. And speaking of security, one of the growing things that we're seeing is, we implemented a redaction engine. There's not many tools that do this in the market. Most competitors that we see actually just take a rectangle annotation, put it over the document, they'll backfill it, and then they'll flatten it into the document. The problem when you do this is that when you flatten it into the document, you're not removing the underlying metadata or anything from the document. So if I searched, those results still will show up under the document that's here because we haven't removed the metadata from it. So, what we've done and spent quite a bit of time, QA testing and ensuring is that PSPDFKit can take a redaction tool, either through a text or area redaction, apply it to a part of the PDF. We can make a note here of why we're redacting this. We had a webinar on August 23rd. And then if we apply the redaction, the text, which previously had 3 hits, now has only 2 hits because we've permanently removed the underlying text over this, which is quite great. We've done some custom implementation as well. So like all these examples I've been showing today actually are available on GitHub. So like, you can take these and kind of get even further start. But we have pre-list numbers that you can search, that marks credit cards that we can apply. Our goal is to kind of make this as a seamless opportunity to use PSPDFKit in your applications, along with kind of our engineering resources there for everyone to use. So wonderful. We'll do one more area redaction and call it a day. There we go. Cool. Okay. Back to our feature list. Where did I find my feature list? Okay, let's close our sidebar. Okay, so we've been making our way through most of these features to kind of give a good overview of everything that we offer. It sounds like the chat's pretty busy, so I appreciate Guillermo and everyone. Some things that we do that I just wanted to kind of highlight through our server implementation is we do provide one of the best OCR engines in the industry. We can take, scanned documents. We can look at, tables. We can do different types of things to extract that information or make it extractable. We've been working quite a bit on the growing demand of being able to generate PDFs, specifically through HTML. And also taking all the tools we've talked about today and being able to apply them to different document types. So taking image, JPEGs, TIFFs, Office files, being able to convert them to PDF, and then being able to use all these tools irrelevant of the document type. Cool. So one of the last things I wanted to cover, which is something proprietary that we've brought to kind of the PDF spec. Several years ago, we looked at how people work with documents and specifically with PDF, and it being such a reliable document type, we wanted to find a way to kind of bring a more intuitive way to work on documents. So we came up with what we call PSPDFKit Instant. So PSPDFKit Instant is a server-side tool that connects your front end document manipulation to a back end sync. So what that does is, below what I have two different instances of PSPDFKit running. So we have two different web browsers. I could share the link with everybody. And what this allows me to do is, anytime a change to the document happens, it sends this change in real time back to the server, and anyone with access to the document gets that change in real time. So it basically is a great conflict resolution tool where, as you switch between different devices, whether it's your iPad, your desktop, your laptop, your phone, it eliminates the worry of, have I saved this? Do I have the latest version? And so it allows more of a collaborative approach, that either from like an individual working on a document to, you might have someone out in the field, you might have um, be sitting around a table, a board meeting, and you want an easy way to collaborate on PDFs. Instant is a great tool. So any type of annotation, if the document is manipulated where maybe we delete a page and I save it, we send a note to all the users that they need to reload so they have the latest version. We've also added different workflow tools like instant commenting, so threaded commenting in real time so that people can have conversations on specific annotations. This is anonymous, but you can use certain APIs to allow author names. And so, going a step further, we also included permissions so that you can see like who's done what, who has ownership of things and things like that. So yeah, so kind of bringing it full circle back to the homepage. The past half hour, we've really taken at this product feature list and kind of gone through it to kind of expose some of the common things you can implement into PSPDFKit and some of the use cases we see. Our website's super feature rich with information on the different products we do, different ways we're deployed in certain industries, and customers you can commonly see using our framework. And what really I probably sets us apart is our documentation. We spent a lot of time, a lot of effort making our documentation, very rich, and allows you to find the support you need for things like customization, annotations, things like that. Some are feature specific, but different types of browser support and things like that, framework size. So there's a lot here. We've omitted a search bar so you can search within to find certain things. But yeah, so a couple final things as we'll kind of come back to the questions and make sure we've answered anything. We provide a free trial and evaluation of all our products. So this will allow you to download our latest build and all the features that we offer. There'll be a large red watermark on it. Promise it's not there when you move to production. But what this allows you to do is get up and running, based on kind of the front end, we'll say we're working in Angular, we're starting a new product and we're just going to go with the front end integration. So I can go to my get started guide, and you really just have to follow the requirements in creating this up and running. And you could have an instance of PSPDFKit for web standalone up and running in minutes. And then you can always move from there as well. If you wanted to test other things, such as maybe our web server backed integration. Maybe we're working on Node.js, and you can see the requirements to run this, installing Docker through our container approach on, Mac, Windows, or Linux, and things there. So yeah, you can definitely trial the SDK, verify there, and then if you want to have a chat with the sales team and some of our solutions engineers, you can reach out here. We have a couple of different ways. We'll definitely want to hear about what you're working on. The more information, the better, just because we can help kind of drive that discussion on what feature flags you need, and kind of understand which SDKs you're going to be deploying, and just have contact information. We also have a way to, schedule a call directly with our team. If you want to talk to one of our SDRs or one of our sales reps or one of our solutions engineers, we can get that scheduled. Based on that, it looks like I'm not available much for the next day or so, but our team is. We also provide full pre-sale support through our technical team. We do not outsource our support. Everything's handled by our engineers at PSPDFKit. So you're talking to the same people that are maintaining this, building this, and are experts on this. So, we're definitely here to help as much as possible. So, all right. Let me look at the chat to see what we got. Documentation, great documentation. Very helpful for evaluation. Appreciate that. Our marketing team always loves to hear that, the work they're doing for the documentation thing out. Yes, all the functionality is available in the trial. If you do go through the web demo though, and you might see something that may not be present, we have this sidebar where, we showed the magazine example. This is a custom example that we've pre-built using the framework. You can log into GitHub and get that example here, which can kind of streamline things. So certain things like maybe the redaction example is something you're looking for, you can pull that here. So everything in the showcase that we went over today is readily available for you to integrate into the trial. Looks like Guillermo has been doing some great work. Roy had some great questions. Okay, collaborations. Yeah, and I guess I can touch on the collaboration thing. One thing I didn't show is the permissions. So I have to switch to the server. So we partnered with an education learning management system, but this has been used widely in different industries. But being able to come in and as a student and have the ability, or have a user and being able to say, like, do I want my, public or private mode? So I can, as a student, I can say, I love my teacher as a public annotation, but then I can go to a private mode and be like, I really don't like my teacher. So if I switch over to the teacher mode, you can see that I can only see that. So yeah, so we can do granular level permissions on documents as well as annotation types and things like that. And you can kind of go through the different students and things like that. So this is Lucas who made that. So you can see that the students themselves can see stuff that the teacher can't. Cool. What are they? Real time multiple users. How do you page signature? Yep. So the question about the page viewing synchronization, we've had clients achieve this for sure. Happy to help out this. The questions about the original PDF. So like everything I did, all the operations. So like even the redaction example, using, these are front end tools, obviously with a document editor, being able to, manipulate but we also expose all this stuff programmatically through APIs. So if you wanted to not work with the original document, you could programmatically do that. Okay. Large PDFs. Does it wait for the? Yeah. So the large PDFs. I know I'm doubling up here. Our web server backed integration allows you to deploy our server technology through, again, a container approach on your backend, which then allows you to lazy load the PDF. So if I come to the showcase and I open up, let's see, this magazine example, and I quickly scroll, I'm only going to render the pages I'm looking at. It doesn't download the entire document. It basically downloads on demand. So running a little slow based on running the webinar and everything, but you can see basically me download these on demand. So yeah, we typically you know page size and complexity doesn't always correlate, but we typically say, um, you know, we can take a look at the document you're looking at and make suggestions. Most browsers start to scrubble around 150, 200 megabytes. So yeah, Manish, you seem to be on the right track. Yep. How to hide buttons on the selection. Yep, cool. Very easy to customize the UI. Roy had a lot of good questions, it looks like. Bumping. Okay, I'm backing over here. Can I fly USB and make some demo? Yes. Form breaker. How can I export form data? Okay. Yeah. So our documentation should have a lot of information around the form mapping and kind of doing stuff like that. So depending on if you're using our web server backed forms, so programmatically triggered events, things like that. We have a whole section on forms. It's one of the most common uses of PDFs. So, being able to not only map kind of like, programmatically filling stuff out, but also, what you're getting there, that's fully supported. Customize the theme. Yes. Obviously this web demo has our branding on it, but we're used in several applications such as Dropbox, Box, things like that. And they've been customized to, um, appear that PSPDFKit's out there. Ryan, thank you so much for the feedback on the standalone web demo. I'm glad you have a call with us on Friday. I'll sync up with who we've got the call with and make sure we get you taken care of. It's great to see that you've enjoyed working with us so much. I'm going to save definition and form different inlets if possible. Yeah, so we have a proprietary annotation format that we've come up with called the instant JSON that allows you to kind of separate the annotation data from the actual, and what Guillermo's saying, that separates the annotation data from the PDF, so they're loaded separately. So we have a lot of things there that we can help out with. Guillermo, you've been super helpful here. Localization support, absolutely. We are a distributed company. We work with companies all over the world, depending on which platform you're working on. You can go into our documentation and you can see all the different languages that we support. Primarily all Latin-based languages, as well as some ones that we've identified from other customers and use cases. We also have the ability that if there's anything missing, you can definitely give us a shout and we can see if it's something on our roadmap or something we can add for you. Kind of bring this back full circle as we kind of narrow down and finalize everything. PSPDFKit is largely driven by our customers and developers that use our framework. So if there's anything missing or you need help, we welcome the challenge and definitely want to hear what we can continue to improve. So okay. Does your OCR work on scan docs? Yes. So you would be able to use our OCR on any kind of scan documentation to be able to extract the text through a couple different systems as well. So good deal. Wonderful. So we're just about at time. if there are any questions, Guillermo has put some links for our support team. I will also put some links that if anyone wants to reach out directly to anyone, I'll put my personal email as well. There's a lot here that you can contact with us about. So there's 3 links. There's the sales team. You can reach out to me directly. Always happy to have a conversation or set up a call. And we also have our support link as well that will get you connected directly to our engineering team. Wonderful. Awesome. Well, looks like we're right about at time. Again, want to thank everyone. Hopefully we'll be talking to you or have been talking to you. Typically we follow up after these webinars as well to ask if there's any questions. So, thanks again for everyone's time. And we look forward to talking to you soon. Have a wonderful day.